not.
I'll just summarize, and I've tried to remove the personal aspect of the business, but I personally believe that spot zoning isn't the best policy governance for the city to be in right now. Regardless of the situation of the individuals, which I apologize. Again, the mistake was made and that has to be acknowledged, but at the end of the day, spot governance, it doesn't serve the entire contingency well, and that's what I have to come back to on this vote, and that's why I'll be also voting in favor. But that's single-handedly what it comes down to is spot zoning. I don't think that's policy governance that needs to be pushed forward.
We have a motion on the floor. If there's no more questions or comments. Freeman?
Yes.
Shute?
Yes.
Bodovich?
Yes.
Roberts?
Yes.
Harrison?
No.
Resolution number 1897 is denied.
It's passed.
Is passed. It's adopted.
Denied.
I understand.
It's okay.
It's tough to word that one. That is it for new business items. Staff, do you have updates for council?
No.
No. Council, any updates for staff?
I think we had discussed going back to the Gardner Cemetery and having a discussion or possibly a council action form on that. So,
yeah, but that's actually that's what I was going to bring up as
yeah.
well. But is there anything else besides this, and then we can get to this? Those were the.
I do have a question. I mean, can we get an update on what is being done from two aspects for the conceal and carry that is set to, I guess, have a decision by January? Both what's being done from an overall building policies recommendation, and then secondly for employees specifically.
Yes, Christy, I'll address that. Chief Colliber is not here this evening, so I'm going to speak on his behalf. He and I have been working together on this project jointly. We have attended a couple different things. One, we've received some additional information and clarification from the League of Kansas Municipalities. 4 members of senior staff also attended a legal review from our workman's compensation provider. They had an attorney in and went through. We're in the process of assessment and risk assessment and then establishing a security plan. We're looking at each building by building. What are our risks? What would we need to do to secure those? So we're in our fact-finding. First, we educated ourselves more. We're fact-finding. We're working through that plan. We are working as well with the property liability carrier and the workman's compensation carrier on the issues surrounding the personnel component. So our goal is to package this all together to bring back to council. I believe it's the last meeting in October.
Does that answer your question?
It does answer my question. I guess so if it's the last meeting in October, the only concern I have is that, I mean, basically then we have 4 meetings before something happens in January. So, I'm confident that you guys feel that's plenty of time to react to whatever the direction is.
Well, and we're working very diligently on it because it is a lot of work and it's very important. We also have to create a security plan regardless of what the decision is. Either way, that's required as well. So we're working very, very diligently to make sure, and this is it's evolving all the time with all of the insurance providers and the information we're getting. So we do have to be able to react. That's why we were like, September's our work gathering time. We've got to bring it to you because whatever's decided by the governing body, we need time to react to get things implemented by January. Either way, whatever you decide, if there's work done to buildings, if there's training that needs to be required, all these plans and then information back into the state. So yes, we are definitely in a time crunch and it is a top priority.
Anybody else? I was going to suggest that we have the appropriate members of staff contact the people with the township about the cemetery. I think that it bears discussing. Is there anybody here that doesn't think that we should take a better look at what the members of the township board are requesting here
Well, my
in
comment
regards
there
to
is,
the cemetery?
I think it's two conversations. I'm wondering if we can't have the first part of the conversation, this will be something to lean to Brian, about actually helping them with the patchwork to be done this year, and if we can handle that capacity, and if that's something that consensus can be built rather than by vote, and then moving to the second piece, and I'm wondering if we can come to that consensus right now. Or if I'm off base for doing so. If I'm speaking out of turn, I guess the first question is whether Brian feels his staff can help them with the workload with our equipment if they're purchasing the raw materials.
Our street crews are really well trained in crack sealing. I mean, that's something that we do extremely well. We have looked at the site. We anticipate it's going to take about 2 days. You're going to have a full crew out there for 2 days outside the city limits.
Can you accommodate 2 days of work with your regular work schedules?
Well, something else will not be done. I mean,
But, so the answer is yes if we tell you to?
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Well,
I mean, from a cost perspective, we anticipate the material cost to do the work that they've requested is about $1,200. They said that they would pay up material costs of around $2,000 max. For our equipment and our manpower for 2 days, that's about $3,200, which we would not be reimbursed for.
Right.
Can that money come out of the bed tax fund so that it's not considered, I mean,
It doesn't have anything to do with economic.
well, what are the,
tourism.
I mean, it could be considered tourism. I mean, people come here to,
Tourism?
I mean,
That's a stretch, Larry.
Well, you know, it's
I mean-
not as far as a
It's
restriction.
not,
Like, I think they actually just offered a seminary tour through there, so that actually is a promotion of
They have-
tourism. But for the facts of patching roads, I'm not sure it
Well,
applies,
however,
but.
that's all decided by the Economic Development Committee,
Mhm.
not by me.
But if we're just talking labor, how would we even do that? I mean,
Yeah,
would you take
that's-
and reimburse salaries from there?
Well, I think we would just send them to work and just consider it a work project. There wouldn't be a reimbursement of funds or exchange of funds, I don't believe.
why don't you have to make some sort of a journal entry at a
No.
minimum that,
No.
really?
Well, it's not an asset of the city, what would I,
It's
what would
not
I
in the
do with
city
it?
limits, it's not
Yeah.
an asset. It's just-
It's not an improvement to a city asset, it's not an extended life of a city asset,
So
it's
it's
not
just,
anything.
it's just absorbed within
It's
our
just-
operational
it's like a
expense.
grant.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's tourism. I mean, people come here, and families come from out of town to go to funerals. They go visit grave sites. I mean,
That's imaginative financing.
that's-
So
yeah.
what are you asking to be
Want to do it.
transferred?
well, I just feel more comfortable if there's, an accounting entry that says that that's why we're doing it. Because the way it stands now, it just seems kind of like a gift that,
Well, then maybe we do a
I
monthly.
think it's fair to call it a
It
gift.
is
It's a
a gift.
partnership between the community, the citizens that have lived in Gardner, or the history of Gardner is shared with that. So I'm perfectly fine stating it to be a gift and just the value of the partnership.
Well, yeah, and we're talking about an expense that would actually, this isn't even something that we would need to have a vote on. We certainly could. We could have a consensus and, I could direct Cheryl and she could direct Brian and we could go from there. But it still doesn't speak to the second part, which I think Heath was going to get to, which is repaving the,
I think that's a
helping with the
second
repaving.
conversation, because that's a capital investment.
It is.
And shared cost, that's a completely different animal. I think part one was something that can be built by consensus. Part two is actually a discussion item with thorough vetting, bids, and other items. Right now, it's just, will you? Right, we need to know, will you do this, this, and this, and there's the cost of this, this, and this.
So who's not interested in helping repair the cracks at Gardner Cemetery?
Well, I think I'm fine with it. We've had a long-standing partnership with the township on maintenance of the cemetery.